I know that I should be making myself look nice and having a good setup around me and not showing my hardware in frame, but screw it. There's this thing that I do when I'm supposed to look nice, which is what I feel like I need to do for these videos, and I have 0% desire of looking nice. You just have to purposely do something to make yourself look like turds on sticks. Because if you're purposely looking bad, then the whole rest of the appearance and the badness of it can be excused because it's purposeful. Learn that lesson. It might help you sometime in life. Also, I got my cats a catnip toy, so if you hear crinkling and squeaking sounds, they're out there playing. Alex finally got a new car. So I have a car back again after 8 months of not having one. And today I went on my first vehicular excursion to an unknown location. I started an eBay store and I was selling my old video games and stuff, trying to make money since I have no money. And an item sold and I was going to ship it, but eBay was going to put my address on the shipping label. We all know what happens when people find your address out. I called UPS and they're like, oh yeah, we can just use our store address, you're fine. I went to USPS first and I was like, oh hey guys, I need to ship this, but can you just use your address as a return address? We can't do that. I'm like, well, oh, I thought that you could. No, we can't. I'm like, well, can I ship it without one? I don't want anyone to know my address. I'm like, no, we can't do that. So I was like, okay. Went across the street. Luckily, there was a UPS store there. And I went into the UPS store and they were going to charge me $10 to ship this item. It's a video game. It weighs 4 ounces. So I'm like, okay, the video game sold for $5, so I don't have a lot of headroom to pay $10 for shipping. So I started to cry a little bit, like not to the person. I just cried, like tears were welling up. I'm like, ah. But then I wrote Dickel, who does eBay sales all the time, and she's like, go back to USPS, don't talk to a single human, and just use the self-checkout, and then you can get cheap shipping, and you don't have to worry about return address, and everything's great. So I was like, tricks of the trade, okay, I'll do this thing. So I drove across the street, and I went to do that, and there was this guy, maybe 40s, had like earphones in, Bluetooth, wearing just like a button-up shirt, says to me, please don't tell me that you just walked over here. I'm like, no, I drove. And he's like, oh, good, because I was going to say, if you got here before I did, and you're just really quick. And I'm like, wait, we've seen each other before? I just kind of awkward laughed. I was like, and I walked inside. I didn't see him at the other place that I was at. I guess he was watching me, and I was like, that's weird. Luckily, I'm inside, and it's UPS, and there's government people here, so maybe I'm safe. I don't think that postal workers are like, you know, gonna have like tasers and stuff like other members of the federal government, but still, they're like official enough that I feel like I'm in a safe location. So I walk out of USPS, and who stands outside? The guy who talked to me when I was going in. Oh, hey, it's you! Are you fucking watching me again? What's happening? So he's like, oh, you know, you just look so familiar. And I'm like, oh, do I? Do I? Oh, that's weird, ha ha ha. Because, like, you know, I never leave the home. Wouldn't expect anybody local to know me. And he's like, so, you know, how long have you been here? Where are you from? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm from Washington. He's like, oh, Washington, okay. Well, I'm from Buffalo. I'm like, oh, Buffalo, that's cool, nice, very cool. He's like, so, you know, so what brought you here? And I'm like, oh, I just wanted to do something different. You know, grew up in a rural part of Washington, and I just thought I'd try city life. I'm telling him lies, because I'm like, who, why, what is going on? And so he starts asking me more personal questions, and I'm making up. I'm good at improv. I have studied it, so like I can just come up with that stuff on the fly. It's not good, but like, so I'm just making this shit up. He's like asking me again, like, you know, why I'm here. You know, what are you doing here? Do you like the city? I'm like, oh yeah, I love it. It's great. It's a good time. He's like, oh, so what do you do? And I'm like, I just, you know, live my life. He's like, oh, you know, like, do you work? And I was like, yeah, I just kind of live the dream. You know, that's what I do. I'm trying to be super vague, right? And keeps trying to figure, like, he keeps trying to ask, like, situation about my work. And I'm like, well, you know, my husband, he makes the money, so I just stay at home. He's like, oh, you're a stay-at-home mom. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to birth kids, but, like, I didn't tell him that. I was like, yep, it's a good time. I love it. You know, it's working great for me. He's like, well, I was just, you know, if you didn't have a job, you know, I was gonna, you know, I was just thinking I could offer you something, you know, and I was like, okay, well, bye. I need to go. And I just ran to my car. I've read stuff about, like human sex trafficking, and this is how shit happens. Like people, they like come up and they just act super friendly and they try and get your personal details and ask you about work information and stuff. Like I didn't tell him any of my true life details, but you guys, this was really weird. And luckily he didn't like pursue me after that, probably because of the husband thing. I should start wearing my ring's made of wood though, so I don't wear it because it was getting ruined, but like I need to like wear something. And then also I'm going to make it so it's made of razor blades on the top, so if anyone messes with me, I'm just like,